Hello everyone, I'm Christina of CSLdesigns and today I'm going to show you how to make this easy macrame ring, and this is what mine looks like. So you can see we have this easy pattern going all the way around, and I just added beads both in the middle and along the edge to give it a bit more interest. Obviously you can choose whatever you want to. It's the same pattern all the way around, and we'll make one piece of macrame first and then connect it, and this is the join. So we do have that kind of just breaks it up a bit, but it's still pretty seamless. And I would always wear that on the inside of my finger anyway. So this is the ring. It looks a little something like this on. You can see it gives a really nice impact, and obviously depending what materials and colours you choose to use, it can look very different and personalised. So if you want to learn how to make it, then keep watching. So these are the materials that we need. The cord that I'm using is a 0.9mm s-lon in this lovely teal colour. Now because it's just a ring that we're making, the lengths don't need to be that long. So I'm actually just using some scrap cord from a bracelet I made a while back. So if you have something like that, you can easily use that because the lengths don't need to be that long. And then I have my beads as well. So they're both copper round metal spacer beads. The first ones here, the larger ones, they're 4mm. So they're going to be the centre of the ring, and then these ones are 3mm and they're going to be along the edges. So let's get materials ready and let's get started. And then the lengths of cord that we're going to need is 4 lengths here of about 40cm each, and these are going to be used for the whole ring. So I then took all my lengths of cord and I tied a regular knot around them just as a starting point, and then it holds it all together. And then I've also just left a tail behind that knot of about 10cm just so we have them we can finish it off with at the end. Then I'm going to work with these longer lengths to make the main part. So to start out with here, I'm just going to separate the cords out. So we're going to have one on each side and then two kind of there in the middle. Then what we need to start out with is making a double half hitch. So I'm going to take the two middle ones and I'm just going to take ones here that are kind of crossing over and under each other. Then I'm going to take my right one, bring it around and back underneath, make sure to go through that loop, and then tighten that, put the others out of the way, all the way up underneath that knot, and then again around your finger and through the loop, and tighten that. And now that's our very first knot. So this is going to basically be our starting point and going to create a little corner here. So now we need to use the other one. So I'm going to start on one side at a time. First I'm going to take the left one here, and we need to bring that underneath the holding cord coming out to the side, so the one that was the holding cord for the first knot there in the middle. And then we need to do the same thing, so basically continue that row that we started. So do a double half hitch around your finger and back through the loop, so you can see the cord loops around the holding cord like that, and then continue once more for a double half hitch and tighten that. So we now have these two working cords that we just used to make knots kind of coming towards the opposite direction. So we're going to need to take the very first one, because that was the one we used to make the very first knot with, and then I'm going to take the last cord we haven't used yet from that side underneath that, and then make a double half hitch on this side. So we kind of just swapped hands now with what jobs they're doing. So the one that's coming underneath here is going to be the working cord, so we take that around the finger and through the loop. As you can see, working with opposite hands. Now tighten this, and then this is going to start a little row going in the opposite direction. Another one to make it the double, and then tighten that, and you can kind of see right here in the middle we get this little corner where tiny little rows of knots are going out towards the sides at an angle, and creates that pretty much 90-degree angle there in the middle. So then what we're going to do is, I'm just separating my cords out, then we need to get to the very end of the two middle cords here, because then I need to add one of my 4mm rounds to them. So I put both cords through this same bead and in the same direction, and I push it all the way down, you can see there, to sit right into that little corner. Just push it till it won't go any further. Then I separate out these two cords again that are coming through the bead. So one's going to go to one side and one towards the other. And then I bring in, I'm just going to do one side at a time, start with the left one, bring that in over towards the middle, and then have it come over the cord that's coming out to that left side there, so which is then coming underneath, and that means this one is going to be the working cord. So we'll make a double half hitch with that, and then tighten that all the way up to basically make a curve around this side of the bead, and then another one to make it a double, and then tighten that. On the other side we do the same thing, so I bring in the very outer cord towards the middle, and then the last one that we haven't used that's coming out from the bead there comes underneath that and out to the side, and then we make a knot with that one, and then tighten that all the way up to go around the other side of the bead and create a curve on that. So there we go. Then what we have is a little section here where we have the bead in the middle, and then rows of knots we're kind of curving around the bead, and then we just need to create a little point on this side as well. So like the very first thing that we did, that little corner, that means I'm going to take my right one of the two holding cords and bring that over the left one. That means the left one comes under, and we'll make a knot with that. So again, a double half hitch, tighten that, and then once you tighten the other half, there we go. Then we have basically a full little section where we added that bead in the middle, and you have the point again now. So what we need to do now is basically just repeat this, but before we do, I want to just add some beads. So I'm going to add a bead to either one of these side cords, and that's going to be one of the 3mm ones. So bring the first one down here and just let it kind of rest on that side, and then I take the cord from the other side and also add a bead, the same bead, to that one, and just push it all the way down. You can see this just there on the sides, and then we just repeat basically, and the beads are going to stay there. So you just start in the same way. We've already made that initial knot, so I'm gonna, again, I just start from my left side. I'm gonna bring the furthest left cord under the next one in towards the middle, and make sure that that bead stays right there in the corner. It doesn't slip underneath and come in towards the middle there. It stays on the outside corner. Then do a double half hitch and tighten that. And then this is kind of continuing the row from this other side, almost as if it's crossing over. On the other side we do the same. We bring the outer cord under the next one and then make a knot around it, and make sure the bead stays in the outer corner when we tighten it so it gets trapped. There we go. And then we're at the point where we need to add the middle bead, which means we grab the two middle cords and add a 4mm round to them, to both of them in the same direction, and then we push it all the way down to sit in that corner, just like in the first section we did, and we separate the cords out to then complete the sides, get that curve around the bead. So I just take the furthest left one in towards the middle, over the left one coming out of the bead, and then make a knot, and then tighten it. You can see this is the same now as the first little section, and then the right one comes in towards the middle, over that last cord that's coming out of the bead that we haven't used, and then just make a knot around that and tighten that nicely. So there we go. Now I have the sides done, so we just need to do the final little corner or point down here. So again, I take my left one over my right one, and then I do another double half hitch just to complete this little section as well. And there we go. So that's all you really got to do. Now add the two beads, one on either side, to these outer ones, that's the 3mm ones, before you then make another section, and you just keep repeating this until you have the length that you need. So now here I have my length of macrame that's going to fit the size ring that I want. So just make sure you check it throughout. You can just either take a piece of scrap string around your finger or a ring mandrel for the size that you need, or you can occasionally take the piece off and bring it around your finger, and then just make sure the two ends there meet up, just like that, point to point. Obviously if they don't meet up, you know you need to make a bit more, or if they're too much, then you might want to have to undo something. So just when you have the right size, then we need to bring the two ends together and actually fasten it so it can be a complete ring. So this is then why I left a short length there at the beginning where we then tied the knot further down, because we need them now to be able to finish it off and connect it. And also I've undone that knot. So now to bring it together, we're going to put the two ends together, obviously with the front of the ring towards the outside, and the inside there is going to be against your skin. And then where we're going to finish this off is basically connect the 2 points right there. So this can be a little bit fiddly because obviously it's loose and it's kind of moving all over the place, but just until we make the first knot, then it becomes much easier. So what I'm going to do is the 2 ends are going to meet up just perfectly point to point, and then I'm going to take the one on this side here, that's on the right side, that's furthest towards the point, and that then goes over the cords coming from the other end. You can see there they cross under. So what we're going to do is, this is the holding cord that crosses over, then I'm going to take the first cord that comes under, which is also from the point but on this same side here, and then we need to make a double half hitch with them. So that's the first half, and then just pull them tight. You can see how it's going to sit. Something a bit like that. But we then need to make the other half, because the second half of the knot is what's going to hold it in place. So just bring it around again. But then before I tighten the second half, just make sure the first half is tight. So if you have to re-tighten it there, just to get it in the right position. Because if it loosens up and you tighten the second half, then you'll have to undo the whole knot, because the second half really tightens it in place. So I brought it to place, and then I keep hold of it to make sure it doesn't move, while then tighten the other half here. And then the knot is secure enough and it's going to stay in place. This is now going to hold, so we can let go and it won't come undone and open up. So it's already less fiddly to work with, because we don't have to worry about holding it together. That's the one side. On the other side, I'm just going to flip it around and basically do the exact same thing. So here the cord from, because I flipped it again, the bottom side goes over the cords coming from the opposite end. Then I'm going to take the first one of them, let's get that one out of the way, and make a double half hitch. That's the first half, and then the other half. And tighten that nicely. So there you go, and you'll be able to see that that's basically the connection point. So we have a little section here where we connect the 2 ends, and we don't have a bead on the side. So obviously that is the connection point, but other than that, then it's pretty much a seamless ring. So it's connected now. All that's left to do is now get rid of all these excess cords. So to finish off the ends of the cord, I'm going to be using a pair of scissors to cut the excess off. And then what I'm going to use as well is a lighter to singe them down. Now I can do this because I'm using a synthetic cord. If you're using a natural cord, you're going to have to use glue around where the cords are coming out from and then cut them off. But what I'm going to do is just do one at a time here, get the others out of the way. And then I'm going to focus on that and then cut it down. So there's about 1 or 2 millimeters left, just a short little end, like that. Then I get my lighter, and obviously be careful with this because it's a naked flame and it does get hot, so just do it carefully. I'm going to use that then to singe the end down, and then while it's still soft and kind of melt it, I just like to press it in, because that really secures it in place, and also it's going to make it nice and comfortable against your skin on your finger there. So you basically just want to finish off all the rest of them in the same way. So once I've then finished off all the lengths of cord, then this is what the final ring looks like. You can see we have this nice pattern all the way around, and those beads really add a nice touch as well. And then we just have that little join there, but it's not too bad, I think. It blends in nicely, and I would just always wear that on the inside of the finger anyway. So that's what it looks like, and it can look a little something like this on. So it's also really comfortable to wear because it's macrame and it's cord, so obviously it's soft and it kind of just molds to your finger. So that's what the ring looks like. So there you go, it's a pretty simple and easy technique and turn into a ring. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. Check out all my other macrame tutorials on my channel if you want to. I have loads of different ones and other mediums as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. Do let me know what you think of it. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching.